Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
I'm gonna say this loud enough for the people in the back. You know when your life's gonna change? When you stop running back to the things that God is trying to save you from. When you stop pressing rewind on the things that need to be deleted from your life. When you stop hanging on to the things that you know you need to let go of. Let me tell you this, moving on isn't always about knowing where you're going. It's about knowing where you're no longer stand and what you refuse to go back to. Straight up.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, happy hump day, my beautiful people of YouTube. I hope you guys are doing amazing today. Today is a great day. Not necessarily for the people we cover, but for the most part, today is a beautiful day. It's starting out great. It's hump day. You know, many people have their children on summer break. And so it's just a nice, calm morning, right? For many of us, we're not having to wake up the kids. We're not having the hustle and the bustle of the house. We actually, this time of the year, hopefully you're getting some much needed downtime where you can sit at the coffee table and actually drink your coffee without being distracted or having to pack lunches. This is almost like a little mini vacay for the parents that work, right? Kids are out of school and we can't be happier. Not, right? Not. Now we got to figure out what to do with them all day, right? And so good morning. Good morning. I was actually going to come live. I had a lot of Brian Koberger stuff yesterday that I wanted to talk about, but it was the 4th of July and I had some things. I got some major things going on this week. Actually, it's supposed to go on today, but there's been some traveling issues and people I was supposed to meet today, I'm not going to actually be meeting with until Friday. So I've got a hair appointment at 10. I've got my vision appointment tomorrow. So, right. And I got another dental appointment in August. Getting all the medical stuff out, all the medical stuff. I know people have been asking me about my back. My back's doing a lot better, a lot better. It's been a couple weeks. We're going on 3 weeks now since I injured my back, and finally I'm getting some relief. I was going to leave last Wednesday to go on a trip, give us a little road trip, and I woke up, actually I was going to be leaving, I think, Thursday, and I woke up Wednesday, and I was like, my back was a little, it wasn't hurting that bad, but it was hurting a little bit. And I'm like, a 10-hour drive, you know, it's not going to be conducive for a great back, right? I need to get the backyard finished, cleaned up. So in an effort to clean up the backyard, I gotta, you know, be nice to my back. So the traveling last week, I had to postpone, but we'll be back traveling soon. We'll be back. And as a matter of fact, with this case in Lansing, Michigan, if I didn't have everything going on this week and family coming in out of town, I probably would. I'd be in the car right now heading to Michigan because this case is bothersome for me. You know what case this reminds me of? Passion Jeffries. Remember her? She was that young lady that had just moved into the apartments over in St. Petersburg. Remember, I went out in front of there and did a live, and it was just really sad. She was stabbed to death inside of her apartment. Her son was missing. It was determined early on that her ex-boyfriend, the one that she was getting away from, she was starting this new life. And, you know, he came over there, killed her, and then took his son and threw his son while his son was still alive in a lake filled with gators. And law enforcement, the boy drowned. Thank God he didn't. You know, that's horrible in itself, but at least he wasn't attacked by, you know, reptiles while he was still alive. But while law enforcement was in the area, they saw a gator with something in its mouth, and it was the little boy. And that was a really, really sad case for us because it was right in my own backyard. The details of the case were really just awful. And hearing the details of Wynter Smith, it almost gives me PTSD and brings me back to the Passion Jeffries case and her son, both deceased. And it has all of the same. I mean, literally, it could be the same case, and it saddens my heart because this little girl, oh my God, her face, she's just beautiful, she's gorgeous, this little girl, and just the thought of knowing that, it's just sad. So without further ado, good morning, everybody. I know I usually come through here and tell everybody good morning. So I'll just say good morning to a few people. Oh, Lady O, the first to say good morning to Bullhorn Betty in chat, followed by Van Lady, Southern Grammy Wolf. Who else do we have? We got Distracted. And Distracted was saying that they're in West Michigan. The time it took them to get to the shores from Lansing, I can tell you that the baby was thrown out the window or dumped somewhere very quickly. I think my alert came in around 2:20 a.m. for this missing child. Again, he didn't have much time, so we're getting some information. God bless. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. This is just a sad case for me. Distracted. It really is. I don't like any, when it comes to these little kids, I don't like, violence. Obviously, we don't like anything happening to our children because for most of us, we realize that our children are the most innocent of the innocent. They can't do anything. Like they cannot survive without us. They're children. They're young. They're innocent. They're defenseless. They're helpless. It takes a lot to raise a child to get them to our age, right? Lots of stuff that can happen. I mean, for all of us that have, made it past teenage years, made it past childhood years, made it past teenage years, adult years, college years, into our adulthood, into retirement, we are a miracle because, there's many people that don't get this opportunity for tomorrow. We do. We're here. We made it. We made it another day. I don't think we realize. I think we take life for granted a lot because a lot of us are here. I look back on my life and wonder why I made it. I mean, I feel like I should have been the one that didn't make it. Like right now, there's a case going on in Manatee County where there's like 5 or 6 individuals that were arrested recently for a murder of a teenage girl back in 2006 that was dumped right on the Manatee County, Hardy County border. And I remember that case back in 2006. I didn't know the girl. There was a lot of rumors at the time because some of the people I hung out with knew her. And so there was a lot of rumors around, town that somebody that I was hanging out with was or could have been responsible for this killing. And they weren't, thank God. The people now are behind bars. They're starting to go to trial now from a 2006 murder of a young teenager. And, it's hard. It's hard for me to think, why didn't she make it, but I did. And a lot of people are in that situation. But to be honest with you, we need to quit taking our lives for granted. We need to quit taking each day that passes for granted. We are a gift. Today is a gift. Tomorrow will be a gift. And I hope that we all utilize that gift for the best that we can do. It's not all about, being successful monetarily. Are we successful mentally? Are we successful physically? Are we successful spiritually? There's a lot. Are we successful emotionally? There's a lot of things that money can't buy that I hope my audience is successful. But without further ado, good morning to everybody else. I see Shannon Perez in here. Good morning. I haven't seen you in a while, Shannon. I keep doing that. I did it right the first time, Shannon. So it's nice to see you. I am Team Summer. Tammy Crimes. Nice to see you. Mike, Cool Gamer. Patty G. Who else do we have? I know we have a few more people. We always have those late people that like to come in late, like JJ. Just joking. I'm just joking. I'm joking. Always watching. Good morning from Oregon. Nice to see you, ZA. Row Ventures. It's nice to see you as well. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Alabama mom of 4. It's great. And Life with Lacey. Good morning. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right in here. We're going to be, because I'm just now finding out about this case this morning, I haven't opened up the file yet. So I will be working on getting the file opened for Wynter and Wynter's case and start making some record requests today. Again, we're just now diving into this case. I was able to get some information, but this child needs to be broadcasted. Her face needs to be plastered everywhere. And I'm hoping that, the other creators here on YouTube pick up this case and start plastering her face. She's a young child. We need to find her. And it's not looking very good. It's not looking good at all. My heart is breaking right now because it's this gut feeling that this is not going to turn out. And it's just so sad. And it's so sad. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up so you guys can start getting some information about this case, and hopefully we can help.
Thank you for all being here today. I appreciate you for coming in. My name is Ellery Sozer. I'm the Chief of Police here in Lansing, Michigan. That's ELLERYSOSEBEE. The purpose of this press conference is to continue to update everyone with new information and to share what has been done in hopes that will bring us a few steps closer to finding our missing 2-year-old Wynter Smith. We speak for everyone, specifically the mother and the family, when we say we just want Wynter home safe. Since the Amber Alert, we have received countless tips and information on the whereabouts of Wynter. There are many agencies and multiple teams working together in Lansing, Detroit, and everywhere in between to follow up on all and every new piece of information that we get. So a little summary about the case. On July 2nd, approximately 23:19 hours, accused Rashad Trice was in a domestic altercation with our 22-year-old victim, which is Wynter's mother, in the 3000 block of Beaujardin in Lansing. The victim sustained multiple stab wounds in the assault, but was able to leave the house and call for help from a nearby neighbor. When police arrived, they found the accused gone and the victim's 2-year-old daughter, Wynter, missing. When the accused was later arrested in St Clair Shores, he did not have the missing 2-year-old with him. Since this event, the Lansing Police Department, along with all of our area, county, and state partners, have teamed up with the FBI to search for Wynter. We have searched the area of the incident using door-to-door canvases, canine searches, drones, multiple helicopter searches with heat signature technology, and our dive team, which is our scuba team, in the area with no success so far. Our partner teams in Detroit have investigated known associates who frequent addresses related to the accused. And finally, we've kept the public up to date with our efforts and facts out of the case in hopes to finding new witnesses, new information, and to help the public know the areas where they can assist us by searching. We have active teams out searching this very minute, following up on tips and information that have come in through those avenues. What we need now is the public's continued support and assistance. We have shared the suspect's known routes and the vehicle he was driving, as you were given in a hard copy, and we'll also be able to provide that in another format later today. This route will be shared with everyone, and please push it out so everyone knows and has an accurate information. This is an approximate route based on information that we've received since this incident started. If you have any security cameras or Ring doorbells, please check your systems. If you travel the approximate route, please keep an eye out for anything out of the ordinary. If you own any property or work on any property close to the route, please take some time to look around and call if you see anything out of place or unusual. We will stay the course. We will continue to investigate this case to the fullest of our capabilities. Please be cautious on spreading misinformation about this investigation. It's only harmful and sets us back in our efforts. Furthermore, if anybody has knowledge of Wynter's work.
I also want to say, when it comes to social media, there are a lot of people. I know there's a lot of misconceptions that we somehow misrepresent facts, which we don't, because we get the facts right from the horse's mouth here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. The difference is we do speculate and we do provide, our opinions on the facts of the case, and our audience has their opinions and their perspectives after they receive and listen to the facts of the case. So I do believe that misinformation is very detrimental to cases, especially when you have a bunch of criminals that are trying to help criminals and thwart an investigation. That means intentionally trying to throw other people into a case to make law enforcement clear people that were never suspects to begin with. But because of social media and people like, BK was part of the problem with the Summer Wells case and intentionally interjecting a bunch of people that had nothing to do with the case into the case, causing a major problem. And that I know many people want to say and point the finger over here at Bullhorn Betty, but we've never done that, nor have we ever, nor will we. Do we get some facts of the case when they're moving fluid in a fluid situation? Incorrect, yes. And so does mainstream media. It does happen when you're in a fluid situation where, information is just coming out so rapidly. It's hard to corroborate the information when it's pouring out so quickly. So you just throw everything out that you're getting in, and then you talk about it, and then you have to backtrack some of the things that are inaccurate. I try not to do that, even with the whole that kid. What is his name? Jose, is that his name? Rudy. The whole situation with Rudy. Everybody's coming up and speculating about this Rudy thing, and saying this is why we don't. There's a lot more going on in that case. People have no clue about, and they're not looking into it and providing. The reason why we haven't talked about the case yet is because I wanted to get some information and make sure that it's accurate information before I came here to you guys. We have some accurate information, and it's not what you're hearing online. But either way, let's get back to Wynter and what they're saying. But I do want people to know that if you're a social media YouTuber, TikToker, or content creator, please do your research. And, if you're wanting to go down rabbit holes and you're part of the, speculation station, just explain that to your audience. Make sure that they know that this is not relevant or actual facts of the case. It's helping law enforcement. And at the end of the day, if we want to help law enforcement, we want to help them. I'm not saying don't be critical, don't criticize, don't, put information up, but be cautious that, we do have a very powerful voice, and we can wield a lot of help for law enforcement, but we can wield a lot of problems for law enforcement all the same. So I'm hoping that the other counterparts of social media get it together and start trying to find ways to help law enforcement versus hinder them. We have never intentionally hindered law enforcement, but we will do what we need to do when we need to get in there, whether we have to step on toes or not. And that's just because that's our right to do. And these are cases that we're following. But this particular case, this is a young child that's missing. We need all the help and all hands on deck from all social media in helping and aiding and finding this young child that's missing. And the information surrounding her disappearance is very scary. And it makes a lot of people like me and my audience worry about her health and her well-being. So we want to make sure that she is broadcasted far and wide. And I hope that the other people on YouTube and other social media platforms are doing their part in passing her face around. She is it's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking.
Whereabouts and chooses not to come forward by choice, you will be charged appropriately. We are here today because we are dedicated and committed to bringing Wynter home. Wynter is one of our kids, and we won't rest until we find her. I will be remiss if I didn't acknowledge some of our colleagues and partners that are here today, as well as who have supported us and assisted us with this investigation. First and foremost, the men and women of the Lansing Police Department, the FBI offices in Lansing and Detroit, Ingham County Sheriff's Office, Eaton County Sheriff's Office, the Michigan State Police, our local law enforcement partners, St. Clair Shores Police Department, Detroit Police Department, our Ingham County Prosecutor John Duane, and of course Mayor Shore, who is here with us today. I have also heard personally from several of our key stakeholders in the cities, such as our local and state officials and representatives, our local clergy who is here with us today, and those of the community who have assisted us in tips and information moving forward. Your support for our community in this time of need means very much to us, giving us the hope for a successful resolution to bring Wynter home. We will not give up on Wynter. We will keep hope and prayers alive for a safe return of Wynter. I will now turn it over to FBI Special Agent in Charge, Devin Kowalski.
Thank you, Chief Sosby. Good afternoon. My name is Devin Kowalski. That's D-E-V-I-N. Last name Kowalski, K-O-W-A-L-S-K-I. I'm the acting special agent in charge of the FBI field office here in Michigan. First and foremost, our hearts are with Wynter Smith and her family. This is a horrific situation, and the FBI has been involved in this investigation from the very beginning in support of Chief Sosby and the Lansing Police Department. We are bringing every resource we have, both here in our field office, in our sub-offices across the state, and drawing on our headquarters resources, including our child abduction response team, behavioral analysis units, and other technical units to assist the Lansing Police Department. As the chief noted, we thank you for the public's ongoing assistance, and we continue to ask for your assistance with information related to Wynter's whereabouts. Please contact us at 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or www.tips.fbi.gov. That's www.tips.fbi.gov. Contact us at this phone number or website if you have any valuable information that can help us find her. This afternoon, the FBI is announcing that we are offering a $25,000 reward.
$25,000 reward, guys.
I want to take a moment and thank the hardworking women and men of the Lansing Police Department, the St Clair Shores Police Department, the Detroit Police Department, Michigan State Police, and a vast team from the FBI and our field office and headquarters for their relentless, around-the-clock efforts looking for Wynter and putting this case together. And again, I want to thank members of the community for your contributions. We need you.
They need the community.
The FBI is part of the Lansing community. We don't just work here. We live here. There is no higher priority for us than to support Lansing Police Department in locating Wynter. Thank you.
Obviously, this is an ongoing investigation that won't have a lot of comments that I'll be able to answer, but I'll open the floor up now for any questions that I can.
Let's listen to what kind of questions they have.
The initial charges, I don't have all of them right now because there's multiple jurisdictions in this case.
Multiple jurisdictions, guys.
Yes.
You talked about the route that Trice took after leaving Lansing. Are you able to shed any light as to why he traveled any of those places, going west, going towards Detroit, the other locations? Any idea what he was doing?
Not at this time. We know that that he has friends and family in various locations around the state. So we're trying to eliminate all the acquaintances and associates that he has.
He may have them around the state, but I think I can't remember. Is it dysfunction? I can't remember who it was in here. Sorry. I forget. My brain's not always awake this early in the morning, but let me come here and see if I can find the name. And I'm sorry. I know you're here. Distracted. Okay, distracted. Dysfunction. That needs to be my new name, right? So distracted is saying that this person, the man, what's his name? His name is Tyrese or fudge. Give me just a second. Rashad Trice. Rashad Trice was the father, the one that was arrested. And, apparently the child left. There was an altercation at the house, we heard. The mom, this child's mother, was stabbed multiple times, but was able to flee and save herself. But distracted stated that this person, Rashad, did not have a lot of time. So while the reason why I stopped this is because this officer is talking about reaching out to family and friends that have been scattered across the state, there's only so many places he could possibly have gone. Okay, so we need to, he didn't have a whole lot of time. So we have to take that into consideration. Let's just keep listening to the questions.
You talked about if anyone else was involved in addition to that.
I can't hear the questions, guys. I'm sorry.
They too could be prosecuted. That's a message you still want to reiterate?
Absolutely. If anybody has any knowledge of Wynter's whereabouts or has control of Wynter, that they need to know that they will be prosecuted to the fullest if they're involved in this in any way.
So they're not playing. They're saying that anybody that's involved in this crime, if they have any knowledge of this crime and they're not coming forward, Lansing Police Department is going to hold them accountable for that. So if you have any information about Rashad, if you have any information about Wynter's mother, about Wynter's whereabouts, if you've heard anything, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, you need to call law enforcement. This is a child that needs to be brought home. We need to find out whether she's safe or not. Again, this is not a good case. This is not looking good. This is a very terrifying moment, not only for law enforcement, but for her mother that's sitting in the hospital, just completely attacked, stabbed. This man tried to kill her, and her 2-year-old daughter is missing. The man wound up at his home without the child. Again, this is a lot. It sounds very, very similar to the Passion Jeffries case in St. Petersburg. And this is what is making me just, my heart is sinking, because I feel, guys, look at this baby's face. I want you guys to see this child's face. She is beautiful. She is gorgeous. She doesn't deserve this. She doesn't deserve this. And I want you guys to see her. Look how beautiful she is. Look how beautiful she is. She does not deserve this. She has a right to be with her family. She has a right to live. Mommy and daddy had a fight, and she might be gone because of it. And that's the reality. Violence is not the answer. If you are in a, no, exactly, Mike, no baby deserves this. They are the innocent of our innocents. They are the most innocent, the most helpless, the most vulnerable. We, even if they're not our children, we as human beings protect our young, all of our young. I can't imagine and can't express in words how many times I've seen a child get injured, or something happen, or something scared somebody, and all these people come running toward that child, right? They come running toward that child. Because we, as human beings, our moral compass is to help, is to save, is to protect. It doesn't matter whether they're our young or not. We protect the young of this country. There are many strangers that have lost their life protecting people they didn't know. She doesn't deserve this. And there's the animal right there that is responsible, that went into this house, got into a fight with her mother, tried to kill her mother, and took his child and fled. And he shows up somewhere without her. This is not good. This is not good. She has her daddy's nose, her daddy's eyes. How can a man do this to his own young? I don't care how angry you are at a parent. How can you do this to your own child? How many times did this little girl run up to him and say, "Daddy, Daddy, pick me up. I love you, Daddy." Right? Knows no better. Just knows that she loves her mommy and her daddy. And now her whole life is gone. Even if she is found safe, her whole life is gone. Her mom's recovering. The good news is he did not kill her mother, but I have a funny feeling her mother's going to have a really, really hard reality after this attack. And it's just sad. It's just sad. So here is just a little more article about it. I got this because I want to express that there is a $25,000 reward right now for the search of Wynter Smith in Lansing, a 2-year-old kidnapped Sunday by her father after attacking her mother with a knife. Her mother was able to escape. Her mother was able to get medical attention, but when law enforcement went over to her house, her boyfriend that attacked her and her 2-year-old child were both gone. They were both gone. And now he's showed up and his child is not with him. And they are looking for her. They don't know where she's at. It's just very, very, very sad. Law enforcement is asking social media to please, please, please Do not pass around misinformation. If you're concerned that you guys are going to be receiving misinformation, please stick here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I will be monitoring this case and reaching out to get the information necessary. I'm opening up an official file for her here at the office right here. So that means we are going to be, this is not going to be a case that we're going to just be monitoring, from the sidelines. We're actually going to be digging into this case, and we're going to actually be covering this case in depth, this Wynter Smith case. So again, I just want you guys to know about this case, and that there is a beautiful child that is missing. All children are beautiful. We have a lot of children that still have to be found and brought home. Oakley Carlson is one of them. Cody Bigsby is another one. Summer Wells. We know that Harmony Montgomery is not coming home, but she still has not been found. It sounds like she probably will not be found, unfortunately. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this one. I'm sure it's the same information that we heard. We're going to hear a little commercial, and then it's going to get on to the I just want to see if they have any information that possibly No, it's the same exact one, because I remember him messing with the microphone. Okay, so it's the same exact one. We haven't received any other updates on this. And we'll go here. We'll see a commercial. Maybe not.
With us latest on this crucial search. Dave, any word yet on the whereabouts?
Well, we are still waiting to hear more on this investigation. We do know that there's been a new round of search efforts in Detroit. We also know several police departments are working together, sharing whatever information they can on this, hoping this little girl is found safe and sound. Fox 2 cameras rolling as state police canine teams work several blocks off Grand River on Detroit's west side in connection to the search for 2-year-old Wynter Smith of Lansing, the little girl taken by a man who previously assaulted her mother before the kidnapping, according to investigators.
She's just a wonderful, joyful person. And she's very smart.
Wynter's grandmother is staying in faith.
I've lived in Detroit a long time, and I've seen miracles happen. I've seen kids we thought, we wouldn't find them, and they come back safe. So we still have faith.
Police arrested the suspect, 26-year-old Rashad Trice, after a police chase ended with him slamming into the long arm of the law. That part captured in surveillance video.
I heard like a bunch of sirens, and then all of a sudden this big boom. It sounded like a bomb went off.
St Clair Shores police arresting Trice after that chase with speeds hitting 100 miles an hour before the collision. An officer was treated for injuries and released. The chase began before 6 a.m. and lasted for about 15 minutes.
I had no idea at the time that that's what that was. I just thought it was a chase. It happens. But to be so close like that happening, I did not know that it was the Amber Alert suspect.
Cops say the little girl was not with Trice when he was taken into custody and hospitalized after the crash. We are told he is the ex-boyfriend of her mother, but not the girl's father.
Of course, he's full of joy. She's my second grandchild.
Family members hope anyone along the areas where Trice was seen
There's
driving
the car right there, guys.
can give police leads on where Wynter is. The alert originally went out around 1 a.m. when Lansing police say they were looking for Trice and the little girl. They had been spotted in various locations, including Hamtramck, between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. Police had also discovered the girl's mother stabbed. And about that route where Trice was traveling, according to Lansing police, this is what they sent to us, a map of the route that they believe that Rashad Trice may have taken with 2-year-old Wynter Smith in the car the night of July 2nd. Now, police are asking in Lansing, if you drive this route tomorrow, they're asking that you watch out for anything unusual that could possibly lead them to Wynter. If something catches your attention, you're asked to call the FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI. We're told the tip line will be fully staffed by investigators taking your call and looking to pass that information to investigators in the field. And one more time, that That is a white 2013 Chevy Impala. So driven especially between the hours of 11:15 and 1 a.m. If you know anything, please give the FBI a call right away. That's the word from Lansing Police and really all the investigators on this case. Reporting live, Dave Kinchin on The Edge.
Well, if authorities, Dave, think that that is the route that he took, likely they're looking for some surveillance videos, cameras that potentially would show where this little girl is at this point.
All right, guys, and that is true. So if you guys are in the area or know anybody in the area of Lansing, Michigan, you know, in that route, in the route, we're going to be covering this again. Like I said, I'm physically opening a file to monitor this case and to make sure that we are requesting everything we can. So we are going to be diving into this case. You guys are going to know information about this case as it becomes available to you. You know, that's really all I can do at this moment. So we'll be going through all of everything that we need. And I've already got, I don't have the mom's name. If anybody has the mother's name, please let me know what that is. Is there anything else? And we have one more. Now, this one is a little, I'm putting it up because I think it needs to be heard. I think it needs to be heard. Many of you know I don't get into the whole conversation of, you know, the ethnicity of these cases. I don't get into that. I believe we're in 2023, that, you know, at this point, we should be treating everybody equally and the same. But I myself have experienced this very thing, especially with our Kathleen Moore case. Many of you know I was with Kathleen Moore covering her case in Pasco County a couple years ago, and I had to get a little more vocal to get media attention on the case. So because she was a Black woman. And this was on the heels of Gabby Petito. And it's like, you know, if we're having a conversation of domestic battery, we need to have that conversation of domestic battery. We don't need to have the conversation about domestic battery when it's a blonde hair, blue eye, white girl named Gabby Petito, but all of a sudden domestic battery disappears when we have a Black woman that has a criminal past and her name is Kathleen Moore and gets zero coverage of the case. I personally believe we are past a lot of what we once lived through. Is it perfect? No. Are there still people out there that think differently, that just don't have that same moral compass? Yes, there are. And we're not going to change those people. People that have hate in their heart are going to have hate in their heart. But I do want to vocalize my concern about the issues that surround the fact of the cases we cover. Many people blame the media for failing to bring these cases forward, right? They blame the media and say that it's the media that chooses not to cover these cases of these Black and Indigenous people. It's not. The first people that need to be blamed for this problem is the audience. Because I tell you, I will run cases all day long. It doesn't really matter to me what case that we run, as long as we're advocating for truth and transparency, advocating for these victims. I don't care what victims we advocate for, but my audience has to be here for the avocation, right? I can't be here talking about a case and advocating for a victim when nobody is showing up here to this channel to preview it. What's the point? So I have to cover cases that my audience is interested in. So I'm hoping that my audience is okay with all, and I think my audience is okay with all types of cases. But there's many people out there. Maybe it's mainstream media. Maybe mainstream media is tipping the scale. I don't know. But there clearly is an issue. I want you guys to watch it, have an open mind. We don't discuss this topic very often. It's kind of taboo on, social media. I don't care. I don't care. I'll talk about taboo conversations. I'll talk about the stuff people, the PC culture won't talk about. I'll talk about it. I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, these are conversations we need to have. Do I say it perfectly? No, of course not. Of course not. I'm not a perfect person, right? I'm not a perfect person. I don't intend to be a perfect person. And I don't strive, I strive to be a better person. I don't strive to be a perfect person because perfection doesn't exist in my world. It doesn't exist in my world. But I do want you guys to have an open mind. And this person really did. I was balancing whether I wanted to have this conversation, this point of conversation or not. But I think we need to have it. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. So again, have an open mind and listen to what she's saying. Don't be offended by what she's saying. Listen to it, because I need my audience to hear what she's saying, because in part I believe part of it. I'm not prescribing to everything she's saying, but there are some things that are absolutely without a doubt a factual statement. So just sit by and again have an open mind and listen to what they are truly saying. And I agree in part.
After Alexis and Elizabeth disappeared, the late PBS reporter Gwen Ifill coined the term missing white woman syndrome. Beautiful, usually blonde, attractive white women get a lot more media attention than Black women and girls who go missing. I can name several white women who have gone missing in the past 20 years. Natalie Holloway, Lacey Peterson, Gabby Petito. They're all over the news. And how many missing Black women or girls can we name who are missing? All the research that I've seen and all the experts that I've talked to have said that white girls are looked at as helpless and as victims and as people in need of protection, whereas Black girls are adultified and looked at as responsible for their own disappearance.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree that people look at them and say they're responsible for, like, we're talking about Wynter Smith and her mother. I don't think either one of them were responsible for that because of the color of their skin. So there are some things, again, I agree with in this article and I disagree with in this article. I think her perception is wrong. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that, at least for me, I don't feel the reason why I cover cases of white women is because I feel like they're helpless. I mean, I am a white woman, and trust me, I don't feel helpless. There are times that I worry. There are times that I get scared and nervous being single and living alone and things that go on, which many of you know about because you've watched it for the last 2 years. So it's not like that. But I do believe when push comes to shove, and I have to defend myself, I think I'm equipped to defend myself to the best of my ability. I don't feel like a victim, so to speak, when it comes to violence. I have been violated my entire life, and I've had to fight my entire life. So I don't know if I agree with that statement, is all I'm saying.
Appearances in some way. One theory is that the police are the ones who put out the news releases and give reporters information so that when they don't tell reporters about missing Black children or adults, the reporters don't know, the reporters don't cover it. And another issue that has come up is...
And I don't believe that either. I don't believe that either. I don't believe that it's law enforcement. Let me put this up. I don't believe it's law enforcement that's not providing, because we all get the same press releases, okay? It has this. I disagree with that statement because I've been in this business for some time. And even prior to this, I was getting press releases for the political stuff because I needed to be aware of all the political stuff that was going on because I was a political advocate and activist. And so a lot of the things that I was doing politically, kind of the same processes I was doing over there, actually are duplicated over here in true crime. You know, the processes of FOIA requests, you know, all the stuff that I was doing politically, I'm doing here for true crime. So the transition from politics to true crime, as far as, you know, like your operating procedures are fairly standard. I mean, there's a lot of different nuances. I mean, don't get me wrong. From politics, I mean, we're dealing with murder victims versus a crappy politician. You know, there's a lot more stuff that goes into it. But for the process of it, you know, analyzing and figuring out what you need is pretty much the same. So I don't think it's law enforcement. Like, we get Amber Alerts, right? We all, I mean, I got an Amber Alert for this this child. You know, everybody got an Amber Alert in the community. This went further than the community because of the type of Amber Alert this is. This is one that has a child, they have a suspect, they have a vehicle. These are all the check marks to get them on the national, you know, Amber Alert system. So they had all the checks in the right spots to get this. So and not only that, but I picked up this case because of the press releases. So I don't know if I agree that it's police that's not telling, you know, the media. Like, we all get the same press releases. Why isn't the media? Why does law enforcement need to say, "Hey, media, we have a black kid over here missing"? Why? What? You see what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, if law enforcement is sending all this stuff out and mainstream media is choosing not to pick it up, now that's a whole different story, and that could be what's going on. But we're all getting the same press releases. So let's not start pointing the finger at law enforcement and saying they're not doing their job and not notifying us of these things. They are. Let's be honest, they are. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be talking about Wynter Smith right now if it wasn't for law enforcement putting this out. And as a matter of fact, for Kathleen Moore, for that fact, I wouldn't have learned about that case if it wasn't for a press release. Now, granted, mainstream media made the conscious effort not to pick up the case, right? They made the conscious effort, but the fact that we knew about the case, a few of us chose to pick it up. A few of us chose to go out there and search for her in the woods. Few of us, and quite frankly, that was pay dirt for us because we didn't physically locate her body. It was too far away from us, and there was swampy. We were in shorts and tennis shoes. I didn't even have wading gear at the time. I couldn't even go through the swamp to get to where Kathleen Moore's body was, but we knew exactly where. We literally pointed where it was. And 2 days later, they recovered it. They recovered her. We thought she was stabbed and everything because we found like a cleaver handle out there and everything. She ended up being shot. It was just a crazy case. But this idea that we didn't know about it, that law enforcement somehow didn't inform us about Kathleen Moore, that's not true. They informed us. We knew about it. We picked up the case. Mainstream media chose not to. So who's the problem? Is it our audience? Is it mainstream media? Is it content creators? Is it YouTubers and TikTokers? But there is an issue. I've experienced myself. So, you know, it's hard for me. This is a hard pill for me to swallow because, you know, I believe we are in 2023 and this kind of stuff should not be happening. That's just my opinion. It should not be happening. So and I know it is because Kathleen Moore was only 2 years ago.
Is implicit bias on both the part of police and journalists. Both of those fields are staffed by mostly white people.
So that was kind of it. And, you know, in all fairness, but one thing she didn't say in this, the one thing she didn't say in this is, you know, we have to also look at the makeup. You know, when you have, say, for example, I'm not saying that these numbers are accurate. Don't be held up on the numbers, but just bear with me on trying to explain it. Say we have 75% of white people in the United States, and only 25% of those people and the other 25% are a makeup of all the other ethnicities. Okay. Now, again, I don't know if that's the makeup. It could be 50-50, it could be 60-40, but let's just go with 75-25 just for all intents and purposes for our audience here. So if our whole entire country is 75% white people, you can reasonably expect that 75% of positions across the entire United States will be filled with white people. And only 25% of those positions will be filled with other people. So I think I think the information needs to be in context, because I don't like this whole white and black fighting and but do I believe that there's a problem? I know that there's a problem. I've experienced the problem. We as an audience, we as the public need ourselves. We need to hold our mainstream media accountable to providing us information on all cases, not just certain cases, and let other cases go, right? We as an audience need to be holding our news organizations accountable for their actions, and for stuff like this. If they are tipping the scale on what cases they're going to cover based on the color of their skin, we need to hold them accountable and be writing our personal and our local news outlets letters and saying, we don't like this. We don't like the way that this is starting to turn out. We're noticing you're putting a lot of emphasis on these cases, but none on these cases. And we want these cases solved. But us as audience members of those need to be vocal. We need to speak up and stand up and say, we are done with this, issue. Every case matters. Every human being matters. At the end of the day, our rules here in this country is we want to preserve life. We don't want to take life. We want to preserve it. And any way that we can help preserve it, that's what we need to do. And we need to hold our law enforcement and our mainstream media accountable to that. And when they do this, and like I said, I prayed over whether I was going to play that clip. And it's hard for me to withhold that clip from my audience, especially in light of the fact that I've experienced the very things that she was expressing there. It would be horrible for me to not express my concerns with that. It would be, to me, malpractice, right? It would be malpractice to my peeps if I gave you wrong information. That's not what the whole issue is with this. So we are going to definitely go down Wynter Smith's case. So be on the lookout for her case. I'm just going to take a few minutes to open up the phone lines to see if anybody has any discussion related to Wynter's case. If you have any information, if you would just like to say some things about Wynter, or a moment of silence. I don't want to do a moment of silence for her, because I'm really hopeful that he did something stupid, like, take this child over to his girlfriend's house, or his ex, you know what I'm saying? Like, he hid this child. He never hurt her, his grandmother said, they've seen a lot of miracles happen. They're praying for a miracle. They're praying for this child to come back home safely. The grandmother she's praying to God that this is not going to be her reality. And I'm praying right along with her. So I don't want to have a moment of silence right now. I don't want to have, a prayer vigil right now. We all need to say prayers, but I'm not prepared for it right now. I just feel like when we do that, it kind of solidifies things. And I'm not ready to solidify this for her, for Wynter Smith just yet. I in my gut feel, like this isn't going to turn out well, and it breaks my heart. But sorry guys, I'm getting a little choked up here when I talk about this little girl. I'm hopeful, but I just feel like if we do anything more than we're doing, I feel like it becomes real at that point, that, like, right now it's just a thought. Like, we've done this a long enough time. We've been around the block long enough that we kind of know how this is going to end. And it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, but for me, I'm just still trying to maintain hope and just pray to God that this guy is not this much of an animal. I mean, right now, that's really what I'm praying for, is that this man is not that. I mean, he's an animal, but I'm praying to God he's not that type of animal, you know? So I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines just for a few minutes, just to see if anybody has anything that they would like to say about, Wynter Smith. And we're not going to be on the phone very long with her. We're just going to take probably about 15 or 20 if you guys call in. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to move forward. We still have a whole second session of content that we're going to go over. We're going to be talking about Rudy and Rudy's case. And then we're going to dovetail into the Brian Kohberger case and get you guys updated on that. As you know, I've been spending an extra amount of time on the Kohberger case, going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And we've got a lot here. We really do. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm, this is a big package of paperwork. But I got a lot of stuff here that we are going to be discussing. Over here. This is Betty.
Hey, my friend. How are you today? It's Southern Grammy.
Oh, Southern Grammy. How are you, love?
I am good. Praying for this little girl and her family. It's
Yes.
so heartbreaking.
It sure does have a lot of the hallmarks of that Passion Jeffries case in St. Pete.
Absolutely. I mean, ladies, we've got to watch who we bring around. I mean, I have an adult son now, but I have grandbabies and great nieces and about to have a great nephew. And I really don't even date anymore, because how do you bring people around your babies anymore?
It's hard.
And along that line, so last week we were all celebrating. My son was under contract to buy his first home. And then he told me Saturday that they had to back out because they found out that the guy next door had been convicted of child R.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's got 3 little girls. So they're waiting today to kind of see, like, if they're even going to recover any of their earnest money, which they probably won't. But he's just devastated because he works really hard, and he's basically now lost a chunk of money, but his girls are safe. So,
well, hopefully if he's in his window, like there's like an inspection period, typically in that inspection period, they can't withhold your earnest money. So hopefully if he's still in that inspection period area, he can get 100% of his earnest money back.
We're hoping. They had already done the inspections last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going VA, so I know they've got a little more catches with that, but we'll see how that goes today. But, I kind of wanted to throw that out there too, because not only do we have who is coming around our kids, but we need to know who is around our kids.
Yeah.
Because even though this conviction was a while back, you never know.
You never want, listen, it's like this. People that are millionaires, they don't go and take their entire savings to Las Vegas, and your children are your, it's your most valuable resource you have. And if you're not going to take your money to Vegas and just piss it away on craps, why would you put your children in a gambling position when you know that somebody could harm them? You would never gamble with your children.
Absolutely. And I couldn't be more, proud of him. We all had his back. We're like, no way, we'll keep looking, we'll figure it out, and I know he was very disappointed. They really liked the house, but, his wife said, hey, if it's meant to be, it will be. And so, it's just one of those things that, here in this case, we're reminded, unfortunately, daily that, we have to be aware. And I think my reason for bringing that up is that's also something, I don't know why we didn't think to Google or whatever sooner. I'm glad he did before they moved in. The people who owned the house before had girls. So I was like, oh, maybe they didn't know. So, I mean, we don't know. But just to kind of put it out there, I mean, these are things we have to look at. I mean, if it means running background checks on who you're dating or, before you bring people around your kids, I know that's not 100%, but I mean, it's better than later on going, oh, I wish I would have thought about checking this person out. Once you're in this mom's position. So.
Right. And also for my audience out there, this is something I picked up, I did for my clients when I was selling real estate is I did do crime reports in neighborhoods and communities, especially with families that had children. And there's this resource called crimemapping.com, and it's kind of a neighborhood thing. You kind of plug in your neighborhood and it'll give you all the crimes and it'll show you the RSOs that are living nearby. So for all the parents out there, crimemapping.com.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm going to pass that on to them so that they can check it out. And I may have to check out our neighborhood. I mean, I think where we're at is relatively safe, but I mean, you just never know who's next door.
Right.
Right.
And it's really hard, like even with background companies, like I use a service to do background checks to find social, it's a background checking type of system. And they don't even when you do property, like you can put in an address and do a search of just a specific residence to find out who's lived there, but it's really hard when you have tenants. You can't find all that historic information unless you're aware. Whenever you have a tenant, say a tenant's an RSO, sometimes that's not even going to come up on your crime mapping because it doesn't know that they even exist or even are in the neighborhood. So you have to be cognizant of that.
The owner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, and I know, like, even though our neighborhood is a really nice subdivision of houses, there's a lot of renters there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you take every step you can to protect your kids,
Yep.
And nothing's going to be foolproof, but
nothing's 100%, folks. No perfection.
But you do, the best you can. And, it's just sad. We're seeing this stuff more and more and more. And, these people, that do things and then think that they can hide it and get away with it. I 100% kind of believe that that's kind of the Summer case, that something happened and then they panicked and they've just been trying to cover their tracks. But, there's so many things. And like this girl that, threw the baby in the garbage, like, did she not think that anyone was going to find it? But she really thought she could just walk away like nothing happened. And I think so much with, there not being accountability. We're not coming down hard enough on these repeat offenders. We're not coming down hard enough on them when they do it the first time. There's too many people that are under the impression that they could just get away with it.
Yeah.
They could just walk away. And
I think that has a lot to do, though, with the whole, like, our kids these days are living in fantasy worlds. The movies that they're making is all fantasy related. These people are in the Dungeons and Dragons type of realm. They're not in reality. And then they have all these things that they're required to be violent in their ultra reality state, and then they think, to me, I think that they think that they're going to get away with it because they got away with it on this game. I mean, it's just, I don't know what to think of all of this. I just think that we're doing a disservice to our children. We're making our country more violent. And we have to take responsibility for that. We're doing this to ourselves. Nobody else is doing this to us.
Oh, absolutely. And parents, we've got parents these days that are so in denial about, their kids that, the answer to everything now is, oh, well, but they're depressed. And I'm not saying that there's not depression and anxiety, but I just feel like now it's like every generation there's a new go-to for, and we're just, putting heels on top of heels. And, it's like everybody knows, like, oh, I've got this and I take this. And, I remember back in the day, we went outside and, had other ways to handle things besides just sitting and, watching, some of the stuff that they see nowadays. And, it desensitizes these kids to kind of things. It's almost like they're just like, oh, well, and it's really sad. And I just, I think that if we don't teach them more accountability, oh, sorry, I just hit a foreign spot. Woo! I think we just will never be able to bounce back. I mean, somehow we got to teach kids and adults that they're going to be accountable and not just a slap on the wrist.
Yeah. But I really do believe we've went backwards instead of forward. I mean, we had more family units, more people that knew how to be family and took care of their family and worked and everything. We had a functioning country, not perfect, but a functioning country, many decades ago. And now we've got, kids being disrespectful, parents killing kids, kids killing parents. You've got, I mean, it's just, it saddens me that we all just can't find a way to get along. And, I really think our schools need to be teaching our children how to deal with rejection. A lot of this stuff that I'm seeing going on in our country is people that can't handle rejection.
Oh, absolutely. The whole give everybody a trophy generation.
Yep. Everything has its unintended consequences, people want to try to fix something that isn't broken because they feel bad their child can't run from one base to another. Well, listen, no offense, but maybe sports isn't for your child. You need to have, just because daddy's a sports buff doesn't mean his son's going to be. And I think that's where, they don't want their children feeling left out. They don't want them coming home crying because it breaks their heart. Well, listen, these are valuable life lessons they have to have that you're removing from their life.
Oh, for sure. And, the thing is like, my mom put me in everything under the sun when I was growing up. Look, I did competitive ice skating. I did everything you could think of. The thing is I wanted to play hockey. Mm-hmm. And my mom wasn't going to have her daughter out there beating up the boys. So I ended up doing figure skating. I was not built for a figure skater.
Right.
I've always been tall, and but the thing is she put me in stuff, and if I wasn't great at it, we moved on. She just wanted me to have the experience of trying whatever I wanted to try and giving it a go, and and that's okay. The difference is when we try and coddle kids. Oh, but you're the greatest. Oh, it's their fault. Yeah. No, it's not. It wasn't the coach's fault that I wasn't a starter.
Right.
Because I'm clumsy as all get up. I can't tell you how many times I've broken bones. I trip over my own 2 feet. I'm not a good runner. I mean, that's just reality. And my mom was like, dust yourself off, go on to something else. I love cheerleading. I wasn't a tumbler. I was tall. I was a bigger girl in school. I did it, but the reality was I was never going to be, I was never going to be the type that goes to college and can do all that stuff, and that was okay. I loved it, but, I wasn't the greatest at it. I didn't expect to win awards.
Right. I remember trying out for color guard, and I never made it to color guard. And I remember coming home and I was completely devastated. I was crying, and I'm like, I didn't get through. My dad didn't coddle me. My mom didn't coddle me. You know what they said? They said you should have worked harder.
Practice. Keep trying.
Right. You should have worked harder. If you worked harder, you would have made it. And if you weren't willing to put in the effort, then that's on you. They didn't say, oh, well, that stinking school. They didn't go down there and say I needed an award, to make me feel better. We don't do that. In when we were in Little League, not everybody got rewards. By the time my sister was in her little cheer camp stuff, everybody got an award. When we were growing up, nobody, you know what? And guess what? We know how to deal with rejection. I'm not good at it. I got to be honest with you. I'm not good at rejection, but I can deal with it. I'm not going to go shoot up a Walmart because some guy dumped me.
Hey, I mean, and let's face it, back in our day, we did. We came home, we cried it off, we went back out, we ran around with our friends.
Oh, don't stop it. You know darn well we made the love tapes. You remember those where we listened to every single song and we recorded it, and then we went back and listened to those sappy songs and cried for hours. Come on, you're missing the most important part.
And don't forget the ice cream.
And the ice cream. The sappy songs and the ice cream.
Me and my friends headed to the mall. I mean, we were all about the retail therapy. So, but you went on and you had two choices. You either worked at it, you practiced, you got better, or you moved on to something
you were better at. Sorry, a spelling bee champion should not be in baseball. I'm sorry. There's just something desperately wrong with that. I'm sorry. Shoot me. I know I'm going to get attacked because of that statement, but I'm sorry. A spelling bee champ should not be a basketball star. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, and hey, look, my son, he was a skinny kid. He was tall and skinny like my dad. He didn't get it from me, but he was tall and lanky. And when we moved to Tennessee from California, he went to play Pee Wee football for the first time. And when you're 9 going into this Pee Wee thing, you have to meet a weight requirement.
Yeah,
but after that, you don't. Well, my son was 11 and didn't meet the weight that they require for 9-year-olds. Okay, they had to find a way to adjust the helmet, because when he would lean down, it would be falling off his head, and they had it strapped as tight as they could. Like, they had to cater it to him. But let me tell you what happened. He was not the most talented player. I'll be the first to say it. He tried Little League, and he wasn't the best at baseball.
Hopefully your son's not watching the Bullhorn Betty channel.
No, I mean, and he knows what he knows. He'll giggle off what I'm saying, because he had parents because he played a couple years and then he played a little bit in middle school, but they loved him. Mm-hmm. These parents would stop me places and they all just adored my son. And you know why? Because he had heart. They would put the biggest kids, they would put these 200-pound kids in front of my son, and I'd be terrified. And he would laugh at him, and when they'd hit him, and he'd go, stand up and be like, is that all you got? You can't hit me harder than that. Like, he didn't care. Yeah. He had the biggest heart. And you know what? He wasn't the best. He wasn't, he wasn't going to get a scholarship. He wasn't going to go in the NFL, but he loved to get out there and play. He just had a heart for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way I am with softball. Like, I love softball, but I suck. Okay. I can run, but it's the hitting. I suck at hitting the ball, but I get it. When I hit it. I have to be honest with you, and I can get my butt moving. I can run from one base to another, but I suck at overall. I suck at softball, but I love playing the game.
But anyways, my friend, I got to hop off here. It was good to talk to you. I will be praying and following all of this. So thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Just pray for Wynter. We don't know where she is. This is not looking good. Like I like in my gut of my gut, it's just, it's not good. And I hate hearing, and just like, I just want to gobble this little girl up. Like, she's just so cute, and You know, I'm like Nana over here. Like, I just want to grab her up, scoop her up, and give her 100 kisses, right? And to hear that this guy that's not even her father may have taken her. Like, there's a special place for this Rashad, and I would love for Rashad to say hi to me, because I'm telling you, like, this is so upsetting. If I didn't have all the stuff going on this week and next week, I would have gotten in my car and went up to Lansing, Michigan this morning. I would have started driving. That's how angry I am.
Oh, for sure. And I wish, that I had a different career that gave me the flexibility to be right on out there with you. But unfortunately,
Right.
I'm a single income, so
yeah, I hear you. Well, I'm lucky. I'm a single income, but if I don't put food in my mouth, the only person starving is me. I don't have to worry about children, a husband, a dog, a cat, nothing. If I go without food, it's me. It's not my family. So it's people. I have an ability I have an opportunity to be able to do something like this, and of course I'm doing it. So. But I appreciate all the people like you that helped me along the way, and God bless you for that. Oh, sounds like it's time to check the docket.
Oh, for sure. But I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, Southern Grammy, you take care. God bless. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Before I know that there may be somebody that's calling here in just a second, but before we do, I just wanted to pop this up. This is crime mapping right here. You can put in your address, you can put in a state, you can put in an agency. It'll give you, and again, this is crimemapping.com. Crimemapping.com. I wanted to make sure that you guys had an opportunity to see the system. For those that are hunting for a new home, those that are moving into a new area, those that have lived in an area for a while, and you're a true crime junkie now, and everything in the world terrifies you. Now you want to be nosy and find out what kind of creeps live around you. Crimemapping.com. Crimemapping.com is a great way. This is something I've given every single one of my clients when I was selling real estate. I always pulled this report for them so they knew exactly what they were getting. People say that that's not a good thing for real estate agents to do, but it garnered a lot of trust with my clients, telling them everything that they needed to know to make an informed decision. One of the biggest investments, of their life is a home. For many people, your largest investment is your home. And I say investment because it is an investment. It is one that appreciates, not depreciates. A car is not an investment. Okay. People that go out and spend $100,000 on a car, you just took $100,000 and put a match to it. Okay. You can get around in a Bentley as easily as you can in a Honda Civic. Okay. It is not an investment in a car. You lose money. Okay. It depreciates. It doesn't appreciate. It depreciates. So your vehicle depreciates, your home appreciates. Your home is most of us, our home is our biggest net worth item. So you want to make sure, and your family is worth more than any dollar that you have in your bank account. So those are two things that you want to make sure that are ultra safe. Crimemapping.com. And trust me, I don't get paid from crimemapping.com. It is something I believe in. It's something I used. It's something that's accurate as it can be, and it's free to its subscribers. So go sign up, crimemapping.com. Be informed in your community as to what's going on criminally. Believe it or not, I found out that there was stuff going on the other side of the street that I didn't know because of this crimemapping.com website. So it also will notify you. You can set it up so you can receive alerts. If anything goes on in your community that you need to be alerted for, it will alert you. So sign up to crimemapping.com. You will thank me later. You will thank me later. If you guys don't know, I'm Bullhorn Betty. I know many of you are here. You know who I am, and you know that I am covering the Idaho 4. The Idaho 4 is Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xander Knodel, which were killed in their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho on November 13th in the early morning hours between 4 and 4:20 in the morning. Lots of stuff has surfaced. Over the last 24 to 48 hours, there has been a video that has surfaced that implies that it's possible that Brian Kohberger's car could have been seen on this camera. It is plausible. I can't corroborate this video. I can't tell you that this video is legit. I can't tell you that this video that's surfacing is from that area. I can't confirm that. I don't know where it came from. What we're seeing looks like the apartments on the front side of the house. I cannot confirm that information. I cannot tell you whether that is a legit video or not. It's possible. That's what I can tell you. It's possible. It happened right around the same time that we would have expected to see headlights leaving the area. The issue with the headlights are in two parts. One is we learned that Brian Kohberger left the area at a high rate of speed. The issue with this camera at 420 would have been one that I would have seen a car leaving at a high rate of speed. It didn't appear in this video that that car was leaving at a high rate of speed. Now, I could be wrong, right? I could have viewed it wrong. It may not have been in real time. What do I mean by that? Not real time, like it didn't happen at 420. What I mean is that it may have been in a slower mode so people could capture the headlights and therefore may have given the appearance that it wasn't leaving in a high rate of speed. So there's a lot of different variables about this video that came forward. I saw it. I actually sent it to Olivia to look at just for my receipts, you know, because a lot of people came out hours after I had posted this. I posted this at more. It's not telling me my information when I posted it. How do I tell when I posted something? It's not telling me when I posted it. So I can't tell you when I posted it, but it was early in the morning. It was way early in the morning. Let me see if this one will give me a time. I don't know why these things don't put times on your text messages. Like it'll show like 3 or 4 and it'll give one time up here, but whenever you press on it, you should be able to have a date and time of the text, and it doesn't tell you. It drives me nuts. Either way, yesterday morning I came across this. I want to say it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, or maybe it was the day before. Was it the day before? Monday? Yesterday was Wednesday. And she wrote back yesterday evening. So it would have been yesterday morning that I sent it to her. So it was yesterday morning that I sent it to her, probably around 4:30 in the morning was when I saw this. And this is the video right here. And when you go and fast forward it to right about 4:40 in the morning, you're going to start seeing a car. It's just a few seconds. You're going to see a car or headlights in the back. And those headlights are appropriate. They're right around the 420 mark. We're getting up there now. You're about to see it here in just a few moments. Getting close. It should be coming up any moment now. And you'll see it flash. Where is it? It should be coming up any moment now. Where is it? Should have been up here by now. Hold on a second. There it is. Okay, so it's coming up. So it's a few minutes off. There it is. It's starting to see. I don't know where it's at. It shouldn't have been that late. Hold on. I seen it. I watched it and I didn't see their high rate of speed, but I know it was right there at 420, but for whatever reason. There it is. It's right there. So it's gonna, and you're going to see a car up in the top, but it's late right there. See it coming? There it is, right there at 423. See up there at the top? That's what they're talking about. That light up there at the top. So that's 3 minutes later. And again, I don't know where this location is or where this vehicle, and it says seen on King Road. If he left that area at a high rate of speed at 420, I would assume 3 minutes later, he would not be on King Road. It would have taken him a matter of 20 seconds to get off King and Queen Road to be caught. So if that camera was on King Road, I don't know, because we have so many other cameras on King Road near the house that could determine it. So is it his car? Is it not? I can't make heads or tails. It didn't look like the car was driving at a high rate of speed. I don't know if this was Brian Koberger's car, but in all fairness, it was the only car that we saw in like a 10 or 11 minute window in this area. So it is possible. It is possible, and it could be probable. But the footage is from Linda Lane. Okay, Linda Lane. Let's see. Let's pull this up. Take that phone number off real quick, guys. We'll open the phones back up to talk about this. So yeah, it is Linda Lane. And how far is Linda Lane from? Okay, so that's, okay. So I see it's over in that area. Now, if it's on Linda Lane, for that car to hit that light, it would have had to have been on that road or a road on the other side, which is in the opposite direction of the direction he left when he left the scene. So I'm sorry, guys. I think it's a nothing burger personally, now that I know that it's on Linda Lane and where Linda Lane is in conjunction. It's the road closer to the University of Idaho from Queen Road. So you have Queen Road, then or King Road, and then you go down, and it's like Walinta. It turns into Walinta, but on that road it's called something else. And Linda Lane is further east. Where King and Queen Road is further west from Linda Lane, so it's further down. Now, because I've been to this community and I know exactly if this is on Linda Lane, and I know which way he left. I don't know if that could have possibly been him. You know what that could have possibly been? Law enforcement. It could have been a law enforcement vehicle, because law enforcement was in the area at the time because of the underage drinking. And law enforcement would have came right in front of the University of Idaho down, and right there when you get to the stop sign to make the right-hand turn to go to King, right in front of there, if you go straight, is Linda Lane. So when you turn, you got to go up, and then you turn onto King Road, and then onto Queen Road, and then there's the house, the 1122 King Road. But Linda Lane is to the east. No, to the west. I got it backwards, because if you're looking straight at the house, that's south. And this is over to never eat. Yeah, it is east. It would be east. Never eat. Yeah, it would have been east. So I'm trying to go backwards, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to try to confuse you, but I don't think that if that's on Linda Lane, that's not, that's in the opposite direction that he left, is my understanding. And here, let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. All right, so there's Linda Lane right here. This is Queen Road. So this is the direction that Brian Koberger went here. This is in the opposite direction. This is where the situation took place. This is King Road. This is Queen Road. Over here is where the apartments are. So here is the area right here that this thing happened. This is the area that we have learned that Brian went. This is to the east of it. So I don't know. It's possible. I guess it's possible. It's right about the same time, but I'm a little odd because it's 3 minutes later and they're a lot closer than 3 minutes. If he left here and sped out of this area at 4:20, then he would have been on camera at like 4:20 and 20 seconds here if it was him. He wouldn't have been caught on camera at 4:23, almost 4:24, almost 4 minutes after he fled the scene. So I'm just putting this out there. You know, I don't know whether that video is him or not. It very well could be him. I'm just letting you know, based upon the information that I got, that this is in the opposite direction that he would have gone. No other channels site. When magnified, you can clearly see the Elantra. Oh, no, there is an Elantra in this area. There's an Elantra that was actually off Linda Lane. But see, this is where people don't do their due diligence, because the person that owned that Elantra had moved out of that house over a year before. That was an old Google photo of the previous owners at that house. That house that had that Elantra had been previously sold, and the new owners did not own an Elantra. So many people didn't realize that and were honing in. Oh, there's a house right there. They probably did it. No, that because you guys were, a lot of people, I shouldn't say you guys, but a lot of people were using Google search and Google images. Those are not right here, right now images. Those are images that are a year to 2 years old that you're seeing on your Google searches. They're not new images. They're not new images. So yeah, there was an Elantra there, but I can tell you that I have confirmed that an Elantra was not there when we were there. The Elantra was not, when we knocked on the door, we were told that that house had been sold and the new owners owned it. And that house had been sold like a year or something. From the best of my knowledge, it was either sold or rented. I can't remember. It's been months. It's been literally 7 or 8 months ago. And I just can't remember all the little intricate details. I know it was a nothing burger and something that we didn't cover on our channel because I found that it didn't hold water. So we just didn't even address it. I was reading about this in our local newspaper, sad, missing summer and winter. Yes, Carla, you're absolutely right. It is very sad. And it's sad because it's our children. It's our children. And these young parents, you know, they fight. They don't know how to, they're not well adjusted. Listen, guys, our young adults are not well adjusted. You guys can, I mean, some of them are. I don't want to paint a broad brush, but there's a lot of young people that are not well adjusted. They don't know how to have a functional relationship. I'm 43 years old, and I still don't even know how to have a truly functional relationship because my life, my upbringing did not prescribe that, right? I lived in a household that was much different than a lot of my friends lived in. And, you know, that came with its own issues. I don't have the experience that many of you guys have of a functioning and a functional family. You know, I just don't. I don't understand it. I've never had it. You know, but I can tell you that I know a lot of people out there have not. And we need to get better in that. We need to teach our children. We need to teach our children the rights and the wrongs. And we're falling short in this new generation. And I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I feel like there's a lot of things that are contributing to this, not just the video games, not just the movies that are completely unrealistic this day and age. But also, what about the medication? We have more people in the United States on medication and pharmaceuticals than any other country in this world. And that is a true statement. Why can other countries be healthier by putting a healthy body out instead of hiding all the ailments through prescriptions, fixing the ailments, truly fixing them? If you're obese, instead of giving you, insulin, force you to lose weight, right? It's easier said than done. Some people have issues like me. I can only lose so much weight. My body is the size of my body is going to be. And I could starve myself for a solid month and I would still stay the same size regardless. I'll be a sicker individual, but I'd still, there's just something about me. This is as thin as my body's going to get. It's not going to get any thinner, right? So there are people that have medical conditions that, that they're required to have. I'm not saying that, but 90% of Americans, they don't have medical issues. They have eating disorders. They eat. They choose to consume food because that is their addiction. We have addictions, sex addictions, drug addictions, alcohol addictions, food addictions, OCD, cleaning addictions, every type of thing that you can imagine. But it's not, to me, it's not just the video games. It's not just the crazy Dungeons and Dragons movies that are coming out that are unrealistic. What about the pharmaceutical drugs that are screwing with our minds? Instead of taking that drug, maybe we need to start asking our doctor, what can I do to prevent from me having to take this drug? I had, and I told this to my audience last year, or maybe when I started, and I can't remember which it was, that my ex-husband's father, his stepfather, his name was Claude. He had a brain aneurysm that was so volatile they couldn't do surgery on his aneurysm because the life expectancy of that type of surgery would have most likely killed him. So they had been treating him for this brain aneurysm to try to prevent it from bursting in his brain, i.e. killing him, for 20 or 30 years. 20 or 30 years, something really, really long. It was really ridiculous. And they kept him on all this medication to try to keep that aneurysm from bursting in his brain. 20 to 30 years of medication. You know what he died from? Kidney and liver failure from the medication. So they were using medication to keep him alive. And that medication is what killed him, not the brain aneurysm. Just a little food for thought. Be careful what you are consuming. Chemicals are chemicals. Our bodies are natural. They're not used to processing these chemicals. Every time you put a chemical in your body, whether a chemical is in our food, whether a chemical is in the medication, whether the chemical is in our sweetener, our kidneys and livers, they're not accustomed to processing and filtering man-made stuff. They're natural. So every time you eat a chemical in your food or medication, your liver and kidney have to stop working on processing that natural stuff to help process that chemical stuff. That means all the good stuff in your body is not being processed adequately. Something that you guys need to know. Don't believe me? Check it out. Read up on it. Read up on it. So with Bryan Kohberger, there's not a whole lot that I'm going to go over here with the Bryan Kohberger case. This is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go through a few highlights with you. If I can find them. I got them here. So we're going to go over. We all know that it has now come to light that Bryan Kohberger was arrested in 2014 for stealing his sister's phone. He went into some type of program that removed it from his record for going through the program and successfully completing it. So it was expunged from his record, but even expunged records have a way of rearing their ugly head. So don't ever think when law enforcement or the courts tell you, hey, if you come here and you do this, we're going to remove it from your case. You're never going to see it. It's going to act as if it never happened. Bull crap. Yes, I am following Major John Kaler, JJ. Yes, we are following that case as well. Not one that I'm going to touch on today, though. So we know about that. The plans to demolish the house. I know that there's been a push in social media and on social media to preserve that crime scene, to keep that crime scene preserved and allow the jurors to go into that house and see it. And we do think it is a disservice to this case to destroy the biggest piece of evidence that they have, which is the home where these kids were murdered in. They're planning on demolishing that house for the community and for the school. I am split on this. I'm split on this. Like, I do believe the jurors would benefit from having that home erected at the time of the trial, and to be able to walk through that home and get a good understanding of the home. This is a weird constructed home. It doesn't flow very well. You've got it. It's just a choppy home. And I think because of the weird design of the home, I think that it's beneficial to the jurors to be able to walk through that home and see it. No different than Alec Murdaugh. Alec Murdaugh was a little different because all of his stuff was on the outside of the home. It was an easy field trip. All this in this home is inside the home. The problem here is we all know that this case is really causing a financial strain on the community. It's causing a financial strain on the university. This has really caused a major financial strain to the community at large in Lake County. Because of this house, because of what happened to this house, in this house, because of how large and not even just national news, this is worldwide. This case is worldwide. It has grasped the attention of the world, this particular case. The university is responsible for having somebody stationed outside of that home. Now we can say, well, they don't really need to have somebody. Yes, they do. Because this is such a high profile case, they cannot leave that home unattended. They cannot take those boards down. And even if they did leave that home unattended with the gate around and the boards up, you're going to have a Yahoo, that's what I meant to say, Yahoo, try to get in there to check out the crime scene. You know that. They have to have somebody stationed out in front of that house at all times. This case is not losing its notoriety, as time goes on, right? So they have to have somebody there. They're literally bleeding money right now over this house. So I'm split with it because I think that it has good value to staying up and the school not destroying this home. It has important value for the jury and seeking justice for the victims of this crime. But it's also very expensive for them to keep having that house there. And so now the university is having to expend all this money to keep this house erected until a trial that may happen in 2020. They can't financially afford that. So what are they going to do? They have choices here. They can destroy the home. It's in their rights. If the judge allows them to, then they can. Right? They can't. It's their property. They can only be held up for so long. I mean, they can't hold this up into perpetuity. This is a home. This is a community. This is owned by, even for the homeowner. I think the reason why he went ahead and signed it over to him, because it was going to be too costly for him to keep it. He was going to have somebody, he was going to have to pay all that out of pocket, that security officer, everything. Everything was going to have to be paid out of pocket. He was going to have to pay out of pocket to get that house mitigated, to remove all the biohazards out of that. It was going to be too costly. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that this developer, this investor for this home was going to have to expend. No wonder he gave it to the university. He's not going to want to expend that money. Let the university deal with it. And the university is going to deal with it by removing that house. And I wonder what's going to go in its place. I wonder what's going to go in this place. They say it's going to be, you know, potentially a garden or something. That's going to be an odd place for a garden. It's going to be an odd place for a garden. I don't know what's going to go there, but I don't think it's going to be a garden. It's not going to be seen by anybody. It's not going to be out there for anybody to use. The only place the only thing that can be used for this is maybe a park, like something with swings for the people that are around there to hang out, or another house, another rental property. And I have a funny feeling that the university is going to find a way to use it because it's not having a park or having a garden there is not going to do anything for the community. It's just not. Nobody's going to visit it. It's on a dead end road in a dead end area. The only reason why there's a lot of people going there right now is for the fact that the house is still up, and it's the Idaho 4 where this massive murder took place. So it, you know, obviously people there, but once it's removed, nobody's going to really go there. And I know that that's kind of the intent of the university, is to keep, you know, media and other people out of the area. I get it. But I don't know how I feel about it. I think that I think that the amount of money it's going to take to maintain that house until trial versus the few minutes that the jury's going to be able to go into that house to preview it itself doesn't justify the expense. It just doesn't. On a realistic level, does that mean that I disagree with them destroying the house, but I understand why they're doing it. I understand why they're doing it. I wish they wouldn't, but that's not our decision. And we just kind of have to deal with whatever is put in front of us. And I have a funny feeling they will end up demolishing this home before the trial. I pray to God they don't, but I have a funny feeling they will. We also know that the judge okayed the training records of the 3 officers, even though the defense or the state's not going to call those officers to the witness stand. They do now have to turn over those training records by July 14th. So a lot of stuff is going to be coming up July 14th that must be turned over. And another question is, will the Gonzalez attorney and the media coalition, will they be challenging the new non-dissemination order? The order was provided, I believe, on the 23rd or the 26th. The 26th, I think. The revised, I'll have to look at, actually, I have the dates right here. I'll have to look at the dates. Order denying Associated Press. When was this? This was filed and signed the 23rd of June. But where's the non-dissemination order? Here it is. And this was signed June 23rd. So starting June 24th will be day 1. So day 1 starts on June 24th. They have 42 days to challenge this order. So that means Steve Gonzalez's attorney, Shannon Gray, or the media coalition can challenge this non-dissemination order. So we'll be doing the countdown to see if they're going to be challenging it. I don't know whether they're going to be challenging it or not, but I know from June 23rd, they have 42 days in which to challenge this new order. So there still may be some fireworks coming from Shannon Gray and the media coalition as they go through all of this. Again, I don't know if they're going to challenge it. I kind of hope they do, because I still think this is way, way, way off base. And every single thing that comes into this case somehow has this attached ceiling that they are so much bad that can come up showing anything in this case. That's overly broad. That's the definition of overly broad. I don't think this is going to, and I said this and maintain this from the beginning, I don't think this non-dissemination order is going to hold mustard if it's challenged in the Supreme Court. I just don't. And this judge is constantly referring to the Lori Vallow and Chad Vallow or Daybell case. They never had non-dissemination orders in their case because that judge knew what the hell he was doing. This judge is kind of winging it and has no idea what he's doing. He's just, I'm sorry, he just doesn't. And it's not his fault. He just doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the experience, and he's trying to follow the cases that have already been through Idaho, like Lori Vallow, Daybell case, but he's not following that case. He's only following the stuff that that drives his narrative. This judge is going to have some problems, and I hope the media coalition and Shannon Gray put his balls to the walls, quite frankly. Challenge the heck out of him. It sucks, but the judge is doing this to himself. He's causing additional issues to this case that aren't needed. He's creating the vacuum that we're in right now. This is all done by Judge. All these problems we're dealing with is caused by Judge. So, if Judge has a problem with it, he needs to look at his own actions, in my opinion. Anyways, guys, I know I was going to tell you that we were going to turn the phones on, but I am at the top of my second hour and unable to do so. But I have been getting bad about, Jennifer, God bless you, Jennifer. Jennifer gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership to one lucky individual. If you received a gift membership, please tell Jennifer thank you. And she also wanted to make sure everybody knew Happy Hump Day. Thank you, Jennifer, for being one of our biggest supporters here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. God bless each and every one of you. But yeah, I hope this judge realizes there's things that need to be protected and things that do not need to be protected. And he's causing a major problem with his own case because he's overprotecting everything. Things that don't rise to the level of protection, he's protecting. And that's where he's going to have his problems with the Supreme Court, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. This is just a entertainment channel that covers true crime. And, we do have experiences and educations in the law. So I see this stuff. I kind of, see how it's going. Do we get it 100%? Of course not. I'm not 100%. I'm not looking to be the perfection of YouTube. There is no such thing as perfection. So if we can get 90% accurate, that's what we're shooting for. 90% and above. 90% and above. And we are hitting that mark, by the way. We are hitting that mark. There's nobody that can dispute that. We do stick with the facts here. We don't go and go on these emotional rampages and stuff like that many of these other TikTokers and YouTubers do. And it's because we're content creators. We utilize these platforms to get our content out. But at the end of the day, we have and own most of our content. We put up some videos about new stuff because we're not there. But when we're there, it's ours. We don't show other people's content when we're boots on the ground. We show our own. We have copyrightable material. We have stuff that we produce ourselves. No different than other news organizations. So that's the difference between us and run-of-the-mill YouTubers and TikTokers. We're actually content creators. That means we own our content. Right? Ownership is very important when you're in this kind of business, and we own our content, and that's the most important. So anyways, guys, have a great day. I'm hoping that some of you guys are off today as an additional celebration of your 4th of July. I hope you guys got to see fireworks. I stepped outside last night, and believe it or not, my neighbors had a pretty stinking good display. Very loud display, but a pretty stinking good display. So I hope everybody got to see the fireworks and celebrate our independence. Our independence is very important. And again, it was the Lee, the Lee resolution that was signed on July 2nd, 1776, that gave us our rights, our Declaration of Independence that came 2 days later on July 4th, 1776. With that information, God bless each and every one of you. We will have some more information. I am planning on doing at least a video today and maybe another live later this evening. Not sure if we're going to continue to talk about Wynter or if we're going to go into more in-depth conversation about Brian Koberger. It depends on how much information I can get from law enforcement, through my record requests. So we'll see. But we'll be back. If nothing more, we'll be back first thing in the morning, 6:30 to 8:30, Monday through Friday, here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. We have our coffee club, where we just dissect all of these cases and bring new ones to our audience. If this is something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the Bullhorn Betty channel. And don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, be kind to one another. Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.